My name is Mark Rubin. I'm the executive producer at Infinity Ward.
Cool. We're here to talk a little bit about the new game Ghost, which is coming up very soon.
Very soon.
Launches on Monday?
Tuesday. Well,
Tuesday?
Monday night,
Tuesday,
midnight, Monday
Yeah.
night.
You excited?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. 2 years of full-on development. Launch day is in any dev for any dev is the pinnacle of why we do what we do. So
It's going to be a long day.
It's
long
going to be a long day. A lot of interview stuff, but hopefully I get a chance to play and see people play and maybe meet some people at some of the stores for the midnight launch.
Cool. So let's talk a bit about the age rating. This Call of Duty Ghost has a lower age rating than previous games. Do you think we're going to see an influx of younger players coming and joining the ranks of the other players? Do you think they're going to pick it up?
I do. I always hope we get a new batch of new players. I don't think it has anything to do with their age rating per se. I just, hopefully that the gaming community and the people who are interested in playing Call of Duty is something that's growing, and it seems to be growing every game. So this is an interesting year because of the console transition. So I think there's going to be a lot of people who maybe aren't quite sure which platform that they want to be on, but I'm really looking forward to hopefully another extremely successful year.
Okay, so as you mentioned there about the platform, has it been quite a challenge then, sort of marketing this to these new players? Because obviously a lot of people are going to be worried about, especially with the new squads system coming out, that they're going to make characters on one console and maybe move over to a new console in the new generation. Is that something that's been really
actually that was a big part of a number of our development plans, was to sort of make it as easy as possible for people who either are upgrading and they're not sure if they're going to buy the next gen system today or a month from now or whenever, but so what we've done is we've created a sort of what we call COD ID, and so within a family, so within PlayStation or within Xbox, we have the ability for you to take your profile is basically cross both generations. So
okay.
When I'm leveling my profile on current gen, it's the same profile that I'm going to be using when I'm on next gen. So and vice versa.
Same characters, same
everything.
Everything
Yeah.
unlocked.
And so actually, and you can go back and forth as often as you want. So if you have a friend who has PS4 and you have a PS3 or an Xbox 360 and Xbox One, you can be playing at your place and then take your profile with you to the new place, log in with your Call of Duty ID, and then all your characters and stats and everything is there unlocked.
Cool. So you're encouraging people to then move over and play with friends as well, go around to the friend's house and playing games.
Yeah, and hopefully just making it easier. Yeah, make it easier for people. I mean, console transition is a hard year. Friends get split up, and you're not sure if you're going to buy it or not, and so just to make it as easy as possible for everybody was our primary goal.
Okay, so let's talk about the map Freefall. It's a game exclusive for people who purchase it through game. What do you think of the map? Do you think it's good?
Definitely. It's one of the favorite maps right now at the studio. It's a gorgeous looking map. I can't even, if you've seen the trailer for it, which just came out, it's a really beautiful map. You don't really quite understand how cool it looks until you've actually playing it. Because you're in this building that's fallen over, so the floors are now the walls, and the ceiling is the walls, and things that are normally attached to walls are now in weird places that they shouldn't be. And also when you're just running across the floor and you can look down through glass windows at the street below.
It must be surreal.
It is. It's very surreal, and it just looks gorgeous. And then at certain points during the game, the level actually falls further down as it slides down between two buildings.
So this is one of these dynamic events which we're hearing a lot about.
And it actually moves sight lines, like pieces and stuff falls over, because it's a very dramatic event. So it's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to play it. It's a small map. It actually has a very it's a very symmetrical style, small map, a very popular style for COD.
Do you have a favourite area of the map? that in the office, in the Infinity Wars office?
I'm a flanker. Personally, I'm a
okay.
flanker, so I love the outsides, and there's some really cool little outside routes.
Alleyways and things.
Yeah, and some great sight lines. So yeah, that's where I usually hang out.
Awesome. Is there a consensus in the Infinity Wars offices about the favourite maps and things? Is there popular ones?
So it's interesting actually, because one of the things we've done new with this game for maps is we have a number of maps that are sort of your classic Call of Duty style of map. In other words, a 3-route or a circular route kind of layout. One of the things we've done with Ghost is include also some new maps that are organic in style, and they don't fit into that sort of classic map design. So we really tried to come up with some really interesting new map designs, and one of the favorites right now, and I think it was a favorite at the review event here, is Stonehaven, which is actually a Scotland map.
It does actually look really good.
Yeah.
And the one thing I liked about it was at the top, in the kind of village area away from the castle, it really reminded me of Call of Duty 2. And that is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's really cool to be running around in places like that again.
Yeah, it's a beautiful map.
Do you find it difficult to, when you're creating organic maps like that, to consider the competitive side of balancing the map? It must be more difficult doing that kind of thing, is it? Do you feel like you've succeeded on some of these?
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny, you only see a few of the maps that we put out, but we make a lot more maps than the community ever sees, the players ever see. And that's exactly what happens is we make a map, it kind of looks, it's not fully arted up, but it looks really cool, and we start playing it and start realizing, okay, it's not quite working out, it's a little imbalanced on one side, so we maybe try to fix it. Okay. If it just keeps going and doesn't seem to ever really get that groove down, we just cut it.
It must not be nice to let go of like your babies like that. It can't be.
Yeah, it's tough on designers, but our guys, we've trained them now that they're very much used to that. They know that it's better for the game if they cut and move on than it is to just try to bang your head against the wall repeatedly.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Let's talk a bit about aliens. I keep hearing that aliens are going to be in this game. Can you tell us? I know there's a limited amount you can probably tell us, but can you tell us anything about?
Yeah, I mean, so the way we approached development on the aliens wasn't originally aliens per se. Right? Okay. It wasn't anything in particular. It was, hey, we're in a new game, a new subtitle, Ghosts. Let's come up with some new third game mode. Or in this case, actually a fourth game mode, as we have squads as well. One of the first thing we did was we tried to find some new interesting gameplay mechanics. So we made, took a level and we put basically a block in the level, just a square, and just had it moving around the level in weird ways. And that's all we did at first to try to figure out what the gameplay would, what would be fun gameplay is having this thing, and then we had it jumping around, and it would jump on top of cars and then jump towards you and all that kind of stuff. And then it had climbing up walls and across ceilings and across over roofs and buildings and all over the place. And so we played with that until we found that we really felt good about the gameplay part of it. And then we started wrapping around what that would be. And obviously you have something crawling on walls. And
so it was kind of like a creature to begin with. It was like a square creature that you didn't really, it was
right. It was just a creature.
At that point.
Yeah, it went from a block, I think, to like this ape-like looking thing. Okay. And then untextured, just a gray texture. And then eventually we designed the alien. And actually we designed multiple aliens. There's many aliens in the game. And then started developing the level on which it existed and the gameplay mechanic from a progression standpoint. Then the RPG elements of leveling your characters and having classes. So there's a DPS class, there's a tank class, there's a medic class, and there's an engineer class. And there's a lot of gear that goes along with it. So
it's almost like having a separate game inside of the game.
Absolutely, very much so.
Sounds like it's very involved.
It's going to be good. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. You've got a couple of new game modes, Extinction and Squads. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us a bit more about those and what they involve?
Sure. Well, Squads is another one of our extra game modes, basically. And it basically started from the idea that what we did with multiplayer, where we have 10 soldiers, that you level each soldier individually. We said, well, why don't we come up with some cool game modes that involve those soldiers? And so we came up with squads. And squads actually, although we call it one thing, it actually has multiple game modes within it. There's a mode called War Game, which is just sort of probably the closest thing you could say to combat training from Black Ops. It's basically you and some friends, or you and your squad, versus AI, just random AI. And then we have a squad v squad mode, which is you and your squad versus another player and their squad. And it actually is really interesting because it comes down to not just your personal skill, but also how well your squad is outfitted for that competition. So I've played against someone pretty big in the YouTube community, for instance, and I was the better player score-wise, but his squad beat my squad because he loaded out his squad better.
So he really refined everything about
so it added it adds a level of strategy to playing, not just your personal skill. We have another mode called Squad Assault, which is kind of interesting. Basically, Squad Assault is a asynchronous type mode where, let's say, you have your squad and you've picked a map and a mode, and you've picked out your squad members and what their loadouts are, and then go offline. And then I might come online and I could challenge your squad with my squad on the map and mode that you've chosen against your guys, and try to fight your guys.
It's kind of like a football manager kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're training up. You're not actually playing everything. But
they'll actually earn XP for you too while you're offline. Yeah, it's not a huge amount. It's almost I almost liken it to like rest XP in an MMO.
Okay. Yeah.
So it just gives you a little bit of bonus XP when you come back.
Yeah.
So, but it's still pretty cool, and you'll get these reports of how well your squad did while you were offline.
It's really it's an interesting concept, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and we're really hoping people really take to it because it adds the whole strategy element to the game that wasn't there before. And lastly, there's a mode called Safeguard, which is basically the new version of survival from MW3. So it's a 4-player co-op this time instead of 2, and it's the main difference I think is that it's based on random drops instead of having a store. So I remember it used to have like a store that had some of the stuff from MP that you could get. This is actually these random drops that occur at certain intervals as you play. And we've also made it so that it's not just an infinite wave. We have the infinite wave version, but we also have a 20 and a 40, so you can actually just complete the 20 or the 40, and then you're basing your how well you did on your score rather than just how far you got.
Something to aim at.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a cool thing about squads, 2 cool things really, is one is you're earning XP for your characters in squads. So for multiplayer, whether it's or squads, it's the same group of characters. So you're always leveling if you're playing squads, just like you would in multiplayer.
Yeah.
So it's shared data. And then the other thing about squads is kind of really the AI system that we've developed for it. It's something that I'm really proud of. It's one of the things I'm really proud of about the game is this new AI that basically emulates the way players play. So normally you see AI bots and they kind of randomly move around the map and then just aimbot you.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem in a lot of older games.
Yeah.
So,
This AI really moves around like a player. They'll side strafe, they'll drop shot you, they'll camp in corners, they'll halo jump shot around corners, and they'll do a lot of things that a player would do and act like a player. So it's a really interesting experience when you go up against these bots because they're not what you're going to expect.
Do they ever make mistakes like humans?
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
You factored that in as well.
Yeah. So they'll try to aim at you and they might just way overcorrect and then have to come back or try to knife you when they're too far away or things like that. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's good.
So yeah.
Yeah, that is an issue with a lot of older games that the bots are robots. They're just got aim bots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which it sounds really interesting. It sounds like something I'd like to get into.